entering the season opener for the Saints, I thought, okay, this is a nice measuring stick for New Orleans because I don't find the Cardinals to be a great team. I don't find the Cardinals to be a disaster. I find them to be somewhere right in the middle of the NFL. And it'll be a good measuring stick on your home field of like where you stack up with that team. And you got beat. And I would suggest the Cardinals deserve to win that game, but you played them right there to the last play and had a chance to win it. And I thought that was a reasonable result. And then I sat here 7 days later and I said, look, this version of San Francisco is not all that intimidating. And I think the Saints should be able to stick with this team without Brock Purdy and without George Kittle. It's a tough matchup, and I picked the Saints to win, but I thought it would be a really close game late, and it was a really close game late. Saints had the ball with a chance to go down there and tie the game. So that's how I felt in those two instances. I don't feel that way as I sit here today. This is a really tall order for the Saints. You're going to play in one of the most difficult environments in the NFL. You're facing a pass rush that is ferocious. They're top 5 in the NFL in pass rush win rate. And oh, by the way, they rarely bring extra bodies with pressure. They are winning consistently with 4 guys up front. And that is problems for Saints offensive line that is leaky in the middle because of Ruiz, that hasn't gotten pinning reps, that has young pups on the outside, and a quarterback who's never won a start. Like, pressure without bringing extra bodies is the worst thing Spencer Rattler can see. And then you add in the road environment of it, and it's just a really tough order for New Orleans on that side of the ball. Defensively, the Saints have not covered very well. And Sam Darnold's very capable. We saw it last year in kind of a resurgence for him. And Jackson Smith-Njigba has had 100-yard games in each of the first 2. If he gets 100 on Sunday, he'll be the first player in the history of the Seahawks to have 3 straight games of 100-plus receiving to begin a season. It's just, it does not look good on paper to me at all. I'm waiting for an injury report to come out for the Saints on this Friday. Unfortunately, those generally happen right after my show goes off the air. I don't know what this weekend holds for Chase Young, who I think is a difference maker. I don't know what this weekend holds for Trevor Penning, who hasn't played very much. But as I look at what's likely, and I look at the venue, the style of these teams, the point spread, and what I've seen here, I just don't like the matchup at all for New Orleans. But it's another opportunity. And for Spencer Rattler, who's now 0-8 as a starter in his career, it's a chance for him to go out there and continue to take strides. He took strides last week. I gave this analogy last year. It was actually an LSU analogy, but I'm curious if it kind of plays here. There's a game that you play in recreational golf where if you make a birdie, you get double the money on your bet as long as you make a par on the next hole. It's called validating. And so for Rattler, I thought that last week was absolutely a step forward. He was decisive. He was accurate. The ball went down the field a little bit more. There were some touchdown throws, which we haven't seen a lot of. He made 3 of those. He spread the ball around different receivers. I thought it was good. Was it elite? No. Was it groundbreaking? No. Was it good? Yeah, I thought so. Okay, well, if you can do that at home against the 49ers defense, can you go on the road and validate it? Can you show me more progression? And that's a question that will have to be answered. If he goes out there and the pass rush gets to him and there are bad decisions and the Saints stall and are punting a lot and just aren't doing anything offensively, and you look up late in the third quarter and the Saints have 3 points on the board, well, that's a really disappointing result. But if you see some of the things, the elements that you saw in last week's offense, the accuracy, decisiveness, quick nature of the passing game, plus getting the ball down the field, okay, well, that's certainly worth monitoring. You need Chris Olave or Rashid Shaheed to play well. You need to try to find some work on the ground. You did a good job of that in the first game, especially with the next-gen stats of yards before contact. And if you can do that. You can calm down a little bit of that pass rush that Seattle brings all the time. But again, to kind of tie a bow on this whole thing, like I don't like the matchup from like every perspective that I look at it. The one like antidote that I would look at that is a little bit encouraging was that last October, the Seahawks lost to the Giants, who were awful. It was a big letdown spot in Lumen Field, more than a touchdown. But if I'm trying to connect dots from last October to this one, that's a real reach. Like I'm well aware of that. So I think if I were to create a roadmap for the Saints to win, if we're going to play that game, it first of all starts with Rattler taking care of the ball. You cannot turn the ball over up there in Seattle. It's a loud crowd, it's a raucous crowd, and it's a defense that can sense momentum and sink their teeth into you. They've got a head coach that knows that. And so you can't do that. The run game helps you, and you've got to put up a fight on offense. I'm not even going to give you a roadmap that suggests the Saints score 34 points in this game. The roadmap to success probably includes the Saints scoring 24 points. And then what you do defensively is you crank up that pass rush. Carl Granderson's been good. It was a good, productive day in week 1 for Cam Jordan. We know Brian Brzee can get after it, and you can get after Sam Darnold. He's not going to run away from you, extend plays, and make you hurt outside the pocket off script. Darnold wants to sit back there and work. So the Saints do have some pass rushers, and they've been productive in this Brandon Staley defense.
Chase Young out again.
Out. Okay, so there's your injury report. Chase Young not going to play. Okay, I needed that. Tough to look as I'm talking, but I appreciate that. That's big helps. So I wish I had him, but I don't. So it is Jordan. It is Granderson. Get after Darnold and force some negative plays. If they're forced turnovers or strip sacks, awesome. If they're a sack on 2nd and 9 that gets you to 3rd and 14, that works too. And get them off the field and force a low-scoring game. You forced a fairly low-scoring game the first 2 games. Do that. Don't let Smith and Jigba torch you. And get it to the 4th quarter where one big play can change it. I'll give you my pick at the end of the show. I think you sense from the beginning of this segment where that's kind of headed. But I'm looking for progress from young players. That's the key here. And if you can see some more good from Jonas Sanker, great. You can see some more good from Kendre Miller, great. If your tackles hold up against a great pass rush, awesome. Like there are some elements to this that work out, but I just feel like the likelihood is not very good for this New Orleans team. So I'm leaning Seattle pretty heavily. We'll give you that pick there at the end of the show. But it is an opportunity because this is not like the Cardinals who are middle of the pack. This is not like the 49ers who are not as intimidating. This is a good NFL team and a really good front and defense, and it'll be a tough matchup. But you can see real growth against a tough matchup if you hold your own. So we'll see what New Orleans can do up there in Seattle. Kick time here in the Central Time Zone in Louisiana, 3:05 on CBS, Saints and Seahawks.